ahead of what the customer is expecting. There is this customer's customer. We must keep in mind that first was customer's customer. Spencer's concept of core customer. So who's the core? Like the lady who's 25 years old and things like that. And the services right from entry till exit and at every point. Then statutory compliance, extremely important, because in a way the organization can only function if all the legalities are taken care of. We are talking of how can we be reliable as a service provider. There is this concept of quality, cost and on time. Saregama about content infringement. If somebody is taking away content from us without paying us, which is rightfully ours. Everything about the experience on the website or the apps when people are coming to Saregama. And here one of the points which was mentioned was all about ease and simplicity in terms of using the app. B2B customer, continuous process. It is never constant, ever changing. Monetization has created new rules in the market. Don't take a customer for granted. That's a very important expression which has come out. Of course, it is all about synergies with such a diversified conglomerate. It becomes very important to sort of channelize the synergies which exist within the organization. Retail is merchandise, extremely important. What should be kept, how much should be kept, what is the price, and then this customer need, want, desire. Of course, billing to 3.1 million subscribers without errors is itself a huge task, because an error in billing can cause lots of customer discontent or unhappiness. We need to answer any queries that any person may have, and it is all about becoming a trusted partner to our customers. The person from finance obviously is all about cost and less cost. Cost optimization, absolutely important. You know what we tell in our consulting practice is that profits will grow only on cost optimization. Because markets are so competitive across any industry, the pricing that you can get from the market is determined by too many factors which are extraneous. Cost is the only variable which you can influence internally. So if one has to chase profitable growth, irrespective of the industry, it is all about cost management. Anybody who is seeking help is a customer. Very interesting. Very interesting. And we'll talk more about it as we go forward. Anybody who is seeking help is a customer, and in DIN, you are the customer. If I've got it right? Have I captured whatever most of you have said? Alright. When I was assigned this topic, I first wanted to understand, one knows what is perspective, but I thought let me Google out what is perspective and what is the dictionary meaning of perspective. And out of several options which the Google threw up, I felt this is a very important description that you would take. A particular attitude towards or way of regarding something. In a way, it's a point of view. So perspective is in a way a point of view. How are you looking at something or somebody? If we are okay with this, then comes the next question. Who is a customer? We have got some answers. To me, the person or institution who pays for the products or services bought is the external customer. Am I right? Finally, to me, unless money comes in, sales is not complete. Do you agree with me? Yes. At the end of the day, the loop has to close there. Even if it is an inter-corporate transfer where one of your companies is a buyer of what you are producing, unless the money comes in, you are not. Am I right? All right. Somebody mentioned people who seek help. So internally, customers are people who need your assistance. assistance. Externally, also customers are people who need your assistance. 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 Need And finally, they are not an interruption to your job. As we mentioned earlier, we are in our jobs because the customer pays for our salaries. Are we in agreement?
Yes.
All right. So when we are talking of customer's perspective, and if I take it as a point of view, two questions come to my mind. Is it customer's point of view about company that we should discuss? Or should we discuss company's point of view about the customer?
Second one.
Second one, who said that?
Yes.
I think both are important. And both are interrelated. And we'll discuss about this as we go along. The question is, why is it that this LVP program decided to include customer perspective as one of the sessions after 4 or 5 years? The reasons are too many. Mass marketing is giving way to targeted marketing. Do you agree? FMCGs also are getting into targeted marketing. Mr. Fitzgerald, who was the global chairman of Unilever in 2000, said that future of FMCG is individualization in mass market. I'm sure Spencer's in different parts of Kolkata will have different customer requirements. Do you agree?
Yes.
Relationship marketing is taking a global lead. Customer segments have become very nebulous. They are not extremely fragmented for us to take quick decisions or very pinpointed decisions. And they are also interrelated in several complex ways. We'll see some of them as we go along. And this is the most important point. Customers are costly to obtain and cheaper to retain. That way, those of you who are working with CESC are perhaps in a better position, because people who are your customers, at least at this moment, do not have an option. Am I right or wrong? It's a utilities, unlike abroad, where you can choose your utility service provider, whether it's water, gas, electricity, internet, whatever it is. However, that does not mean, and I really like what Dhruvajuti said, is that just because they are captive to us does not mean that we will treat them with any amount of relaxation or disdain.
Sir, this is the last point.
Yes.
Customers are costly to obtain, cheaper to retain. This cheaper to retain, this part needs to, so it's confusing to me.
Okay.
Actually, retaining customers in this world of, in these days of competition seems to be very difficult, because in the power market also, if you see, although we have almost monopolistic market in the city of Kolkata, CSC, but since this is the regime of open access to network, anybody can opt for this exchange, go to exchange for purchasing power, can just disconnect CSC's power and go for purchasing power from exchange market.
Right.
So this retaining customers is very difficult in these days, as we understand. Right?
Yes, you are right. And therefore, this becomes even more important. If retaining is so difficult, how much more difficult will it be to get one new customer? Customer has so much choice. So somebody who has been with you, knows your services, knows what to expect and not to expect. But somebody who doesn't know you, you need to prove yourself to him or her to give him reasons why he should come to you in comparison to something else which could be an option. That's anything more expensive. We'll show some data also. What you said is absolutely true. Brand loyalty is a thing of past. The point that we're trying to make, the moment there is an option, people are willing to move. The expectation of customers are ever increasing, ever changing. There was a famous Pepsi campaign. Will Mange. And the customer will only ask for more. Do we do that as customers?
Yes.
From brands that we consume? Am I right or wrong? And this is only going to increase. Do you agree with this also? Choices are plenty. Too many choices. In fact, we are spoiled for choices. And today with Google being so omnipresent in our lives, it is also creating a lot of confusion. Do you agree? Especially where things are little nebulous. Education. Extremely nebulous area. Every college says that they are very good. And there are these 100 rating surveys, except for a few who always remain in the top. People in the middle keep swinging from the bottom end to the middle end. And finally there is a lot of confusion. And therefore, referrals and recommendations are playing a big role in customers' decision making. First, so, do you agree?
Yeah.
If any of your customer is happy,
Yeah. So the program that I work in is fine. We use that to showcase all the prospective clients that come in. We also got recommendations from our client itself. So that's available on our first source webpage as well. So if anyone logs in the first source page, they get our customer recommendations. So it definitely plays a big role in acquiring the customers.
and as we go forward, this will become only that much more critical. And as I was mentioning, there are multiple alternative sources for pre-purchase information collection. Google, friends, relatives, so-called experts in the industry. For example, look at if somebody falls ill at home. How many people have how many opinions? Do you relate to that? And you may have done your Google, then somebody says, yeah, Google it may have written well, but my neighbor's neighbor went there and this happened. And then you are back to square one again. Do you agree with me? Alright. So the questions about customers that we must ask, do they think we are doing alright? If not, what should we change? And if yes, what are those that we are doing good? This reminds me of something which we often do as managers. We go to a colleague who's a team member and say, Abhishek, great job, keep it up. Now, Abhishek doesn't understand what is the great job. And the manager thinks that he is motivating him by saying what is the great job. So therefore, it is not only important to say that you have done a great job, you need to tell him what is he doing great so that he continues to do that. And not guess what he thinks he is doing great. Do you agree? Similarly, if we say, Yazad, you have to improve the way you are handling customers. So unless you tell him, because customer handling is just not a discrete interaction. There are several steps to customer handling. So unless you tell him what exactly is he not doing correctly, how will he know what to correct? So therefore what I am saying is, we must understand what are we doing right and continue to do so and improve upon it. And we must also understand what we are not doing right and therefore we need to change. Are they satisfied with us totally? Let me give an example. One of our customers is a hospital with 3 units, 2 in Kolkata and 1 in Agartala. So I was sitting in a review with the COO of a unit, with the director of the company. And this lady showed her customer feedback score. And she said, 82% of customers who have availed services in that hospital have rated it at excellent. And she proudly said that it's a 3 percentage point improvement over the previous month where it was 79%. And everybody applauded in the room. And then she realized that something is wrong because I did not applaud. So she asked me, what is it? You don't seem to be happy. I say that remember 82 have said excellent, 18 have not said excellent. So 1/5 of your customers have not felt great about their experience in your hospital. Is that a small number? Then she said, no, but we have said good. I said there is a difference between good and excellent. You may say that I went to a restaurant, they served good biryani. But you will only say, go to Arsalan because they serve excellent biryani. Good is not good enough. Because if you are giving a service which is good, the customer may be happy. But if it is excellent, then he may advocate your brand. Are they satisfied with us partially? This good average scores are there. Are they loyal? Here again we talk of lifetime value of a customer. And my tool we are putting it across to hospital clients is that the first time a customer comes to your hospital, his or her death certificate should be written by this hospital as and when the death happens. You go to a hospital, you get cured, you are happy with the services. If you fall sick again, will you go to somebody else? If certain facilities are available in that hospital, likely to. And the question, is there anything that could be done to maintain that? Is a question which we must ask continuously. The challenge is all about customer expectations and experiences. Somebody spoke about want, need, desire. Customers' expectations and experiences are key determinants for our products and organizations to succeed. You agree? Let me give an example. How many of you are from Kolkata? Quite a few of you. If you want to have a plate of chow mein, you can have a plate of chow mein on the roadside, thela wala. You can have it in Chinatown. You can also have it in mainland China. You can also have it in Chinoshri in Taj, Bengal. Would your expectations from the chow mein change? Right? So therefore, the expectation and experience keeps changing constantly, and that makes life more difficult. And therefore, a matrix of expectation and experience becomes very important as we go along this journey. In fact, as a customer spends time with your brand, the expectations and the experience requirements keep changing. Cost source, beginning of a project, the expectations are different. 1 year down the project, the expectations change, don't they?
1 year is a long term, we're talking about 6 months down the line, it's changes.
It could be 1 month, 3 months. So depending on where the relationship is, it's like any human relationship. You get into a relationship with a person, the expectations at the beginning of the relationship is different from as the expectation matures. Do you agree or not? So same is with customers. Expectation and experience change as the relationship progresses. And this is something which I have found a lot of companies are not keeping pace with. And that becomes very important for us. And we talk about it as we go down. I have taken some data from Chartered Institute of Marketing UK from a Nielsen study. Just to illustrate the point of how customer expectation and experience is changing. Look at it this way. A global beverage in 2013, 41% of the respondents said they want better price, 26% said better quality, 15% says better service agreement for service industry, better selection and better features. 2015, prices has become 68%, product quality is 55%, selection and assortment is 46%, special promotions is 45%, convenience is 39%, store cleanliness is 36%, and staff behavior is 27%. So between 2 years, if you see, the parameters are changing. So therefore, somebody mentioned from that side of the group that it's ever changing. Nothing is constant. You cannot take your customer for granted. The day you do so, you are doomed. That's true even for an internal customer. Let's say an IT department servicing the internal customers, the requirements of customers are changing rapidly. And unless you are sensitive to those and service the people as they wish, you will, I don't know whether you have a balanced scorecard. In a balanced scorecard, the scores could really fall. Alright. This is a Luke Burney Jones article where this dark blue is agree, light blue is neutral, and virtually white is disagree. It is cheaper to retain than acquire a customer. This is on a base of around 159 respondents. 70% of the people interviewed feel that it is cheaper to retain than acquire a customer. 61% says that consumers are tuning out from mass marketing. 49% says, this is a UK study, pound for pound we could achieve better ROI by investing in relationship over acquisition marketing. Very important for your B2B marketing. 42% said our organization culture is conducive to relationship marketing. This is what we talk about as we go along. We orchestrate interaction based on customer lifecycle understanding, only 33%, and open rates for email campaigns are declining, just 30%. So what we're essentially trying to say is that if you have got a customer in your fold, it makes eminent sense to retain that customer. How do we do it? This we'll discuss as we go down. The questions that we must ask is, do you know your customers well enough? I'll be quoting from a Harvard Business Review article, and you mentioned about core customer. Similarly, here they talk of principal customer. Concept remains the same. As we discussed earlier, customers are people or entities that generate an organization's revenue by buying its service or product. We agree to this. Most organizations pride themselves on being customer driven. Am I right? However, customers could mean a number of players in an organization's value chain. It could be consumers, it could be wholesalers, retailers, purchase departments, etc., etc. Some companies don't even require their main customer to directly impact sales, and they've given an example of Merck, which is a pharmaceutical company. For instance, considers research scientists in universities and premier laboratories as its primary customer, because its business model relying on providing bulk of organization resources to research, with scientists conducting groundbreaking studies and creating compounds that can be commercialized by its marketing and sales. So therefore, for a pharma company, the R&D is very, very important, with all the intellectual property right rules which are there all over the world. In today's evolved markets, treating all stakeholders alike may make an organizational vulnerable to more decisive competitors. And what it means is, choose your principal customers and put your money behind them. This is a Harvard Business Review article in 2014. Let's take an example of Amazon. Do you want to know about Amazon? 4 sets of customers: content providers, consumers, sellers, and enterprises. All 4 are important in the ecosystem of Amazon, and each has to be dealt with as required separately and individually. It's shown that Bezos, who's the head of Amazon, he is so sort of hooked on to customer, and his mission is to be the world's most consumer-centric company. And listen to this: Jeff Bezos ensures there is one empty chair in every crucial meeting. It represents the customer. So any organizational decision must be taken keeping the customer with his probable perspective. So this is the type of obsession with which Amazon works. We'll talk about certain Indian examples as we go around.
Sir,
Yes.
can you just clarify this word, content providers? What is that?
Can somebody help me? Saregama, who's
So content providers could be someone like Saregama who give up their songs or something, which you can purchase and download it
So
from.
they have their own product digital as well. So they have a lot of content for digital, like books, ebooks,
So like movies, TV shows.
See, Amazon has two types of products. One is physical products like books and anything else that you can buy. Another is intellectual content, which is books, Kindle, music, etc., etc. So these, one part is the suppliers who are resellers who are having the physical products, and content providers are people who are giving the content which is being marketed by the company. Okay.
E-books and all.
Movies, books. Okay. How many of you had a Yahoo Mail account first? And are you up to Gmail now? Some of us may have had Hotmail also at one point of time. Am I right or wrong? So, often we hear in marketing the first mover advantage. Have you heard about it? Whoever first mover advantage. If you are the first person to move in the market, you have an advantage. Alright? Google, Yahoo are classic examples where they gave up their first mover advantage because they could not change with the changing customers' expectations and experiences. Right? Yahoo started as a broad-based internet clutter supported by proprietary editorial content. Over time, Yahoo spread its resources on additional initiatives, under-investing on search. See, the important point is under-investing on search. Google focused on users who appreciate technology and new opportunities, whether in search, maps, or Android. So customer focus served as a key differentiator in Google's rise to the leadership role. You know what was the seed thought in the formation of Google? The founders of Google realized that every human being in this world knows what he is searching for or looking for. What he does not know is where to look for it. And that was the core on which Google was created. So all of us knew what we were looking for, but we did not know where to look for it. So it became a singular platform for any search. How many of you know Rajnikant's Gmail ID? Have you heard of Rajnikant? You know only?
Everybody's heard of Rajnikant.
Right. But do you know
I've
his
heard the
Gmail
joke on that, yeah.
So what is
Gmail
at Rajnikant.com. Right. Rajnikant is the only exception whose Gmail ID says Gmail at Rajnikant.com. All of us are ourselves at gmail.com. Rajnikant is the other way around. Right? Okay, this is also from Harvard Business Review. Okay, how do you choose your principal customer? And there are this 4-step component or strategy. First is identifying using the following 3 dimensions. One is perspective, second is profit potential, and third is capabilities. Let me explain each one of them. See, at one point of time, I remember when I used to be with ABP, as Ajay mentioned in my introduction, I used to be reasonably known in India for my acumen and whatever, this thing in the media industry. So I was in a print industry, all of you, if you know ABP is a print house, and the television channels always paid much more than the print. and I was approached by a person who is now infamous. His name is Peter Mukherjee. Have you heard of him?
Yes.
Alright. So Peter Mukherjee once approached me asking me to head a channel called Channel V. Have you heard of Channel V?
Yes.
Right? And to turn it around. And the money was astronomical. And I had also convinced him that I'll operate out of Kolkata. He said, that's fine, only thing is when I fire you, I can beat you in front of me. I said, I'll fire you whenever I'm in Mumbai. But then my wife had a very interesting take to it. She said that you don't understand English music. You are still into Retro Kishore and Rafi. You culturally don't fit the Channel V ethos. Very, very insightful. So what we are talking of perspective is, in Hindi there is a kahavat, kahuwa chale, hans ki chal. We must know our internal characteristics before we determine the perspective. So different organizations have different cultures. Different organizations are in different stages of their life cycles. Therefore, we should not get into a customer perspective which cannot be supported by how we act and conduct ourselves within the organization. So that's an important point about perspective. So Steve Jobs' obsession with perfection in product design is a legacy that later manager may or may not continue to uphold or find strategic decisions. This was a Steve Jobs one-man show. And for him it was all about creating that customer experience. You know what was Apple's belief? As they call the brand conviction.
The customer doesn't know what you want.
Yes, is one of the things. You're right, absolutely right. What else? Apple believes that every human being has a creative side to it. Our products will help any individual to express his creative side. Nike, for example, believes that there is an athlete in each one of us, I mean, including me. There is an athlete in each one of us, and their products would help us to bring the athlete out of us. So these are brand convictions, these are brand beliefs, and they influence customer perspective to a large extent. Capabilities. What is your capability? I am so glad that CESC bills have become a tool for marketing. I know some of our clients have used them. The results haven't been great. The results haven't been great. The reason is because hardly does the owner of the house actually handle the bill.